Okay, our first story tonight is about milk. Hundreds of Kiwis, many of them highly educated city kids, have joined a rush for white gold. They're being lured by the promise of fresh air, green grass, beautiful wide open spaces and big money.
Yeah, it beats the city. I wanted to do this actually when I was younger.
I'd love to live on a farm, but farming's quite hard work, don't you?
It doesn't worry me, of course. Look, it could still be an option if this gig falls over. But it is a risk. It is a real risk, actually, a huge risk, of course, with lower global dairy prices, cuts, as you've seen in the past week or so, to milk payouts as well. This dream could actually soon turn nasty. So will these young people find themselves, stuck in the mire, or will they be milking it? Well, Mike McRoberts is down on the farm.
It's Gypsy Day, the 1st of June, traditionally the start of the dairying calendar, when accounts are settled, bought or sold stock is moved, and new careers are launched. At least that's what 21-year-old Luke Chivers is hoping. The Tauranga townie is an economics and communications graduate, but unlike many of his friends who are now in corporate positions, Luke has packed up his worldly belongings to come here to rural Whakatane. I'm gonna leave the city, got to get away. It's a modest home, but one befitting his role as a farm trainee.
Well, Luke, even a year ago, could you have ever imagined that you'd be standing here on a farm today?
Never. Not by any means. No, I thought I'd be sitting in a library reading a textbook. So, yeah, it certainly isn't where I thought I'd be.
And you've had no farming background whatsoever?
No, none. So, total change. But good. There's something I just love about it, Totally different from what I was doing outside. And I just think it's the best office you could possibly have.
I love your enthusiasm, but just wondering, at 21 years of age, such a big world out there, why come to a farm in Whakatane?
Oh, I think it's funny, you meet a lot of people who, I have nothing against the city life, if people want to do that, it's cool, but a lot of people I find are looking back and just caught up in this vicious cycle of work and work and work and work, and I think when you come to a place like this, it forces you to live life a bit more simpler, and I think that's quite refreshing.
One down.
Thomas Blackett and his wife Stacey managed the farm. It wasn't that long ago they were in the same position as Luke.
We started off down in Dunedin. We were there about 5 years ago, and dairy farming wasn't really in the picture until we had our first boy Jude in 2009. We thought maybe we'd give dairy farming a go. Thomas was a design engineer at Fisher and Paykel, and I was a lab technician at Ag Research. So
you're just going to do one in each all the way down?
Yep. So yeah, pretty much we're in Luke's shoes 4 years ago to the date. So we look at him and we look at ourselves and see what's available for someone in his shoes, and we think pretty keen to give someone else that opportunity.
Here you go, boys, load it up.
Still in their 20s and with 3 young boys, dairying has been as much about a lifestyle choice as it has a professional career for Thomas and Stacey.
Was it hard?
Yeah, it was a lot of hard work.
Those first few years. I mean, Thomas is a complete townie, so he had a bit of a crash course, into the dairy industry, and it was hard those first few years. But this past year, now that we've got to that stage of being self-employed, being able to employ people to assist us on the farm, we've had the best year.
Good enough for Thomas and Stacey to be named Best Farm Managers for the Bay of Plenty District at the annual Dairy Industry Awards. As farm managers, they don't own a thing, but instead are given the cows, the pasture and the machinery to produce milk. They're paid a percentage of those takings. In their first year, they raised the farm's milk production and are on course to better that again.
We are really passionate about attracting those smart and motivated people to the dairy industry, and smart, motivated and keen people, and Luke really ticks all those boxes. with his tertiary education. He's very motivated. He's quite a high achiever, and he's very, very, very keen.
Barely settled in, and Luke's apprenticeship is already underway.
Loved it. Yeah, really, really good. Yeah. I could have actually stayed on the tractor for a lot longer yesterday. I'm quite keen to have a little play around. Yeah.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it? You arrive from Tauranga, unpack your stuff, and an hour later you're out on the tractor.
I know, just like that. So who knows what the next day will bring.
What are the challenges do you think you're going to find being here?
Definitely isolation. As a young bloke, I think, socialising and that aspect with my friends is a big part of my life.
You still look a little bit city in the country at the moment.
I do.
Do you think that'll change?
I'm still wearing chinos, so I need to sort out some jeans, but we'll get there.
At least you brought some gumboots.
Exactly, I'm safe. Yeah.
In recent years, the dairy industry has been booming. It now accounts for 1/3 of all our exports and earns the country around $1.9 million an hour. But it hasn't been without criticism, particularly over the intensive and rapidly expanding industry's impact on our environment.
We think the industry does need to keep changing and striving for better. But I think that we are doing that. Behind the scenes, there can be one or two bad operators, but behind the scenes, the majority of the dairy industry, we're really asking those questions. How can we do things better?
We need the industry to be there for our kids and their kids, so we need to do what we can to make sure that it's still sustainable and doable.
The primary sector is desperate to attract more people like Thomas and Stacey and Luke. The Ministry of Primary Industries estimates it'll need another 50,000 workers if it's to achieve its goal of doubling exports by 2025. And it wants half of those new recruits to have tertiary qualifications.
Traditionally, dairy farming is not seen as a smart occupation. If you're good at the 3 maths and science and English, you're very much pushed towards traditional careers like engineering, like law, like medicine. But dairy farming is a smart occupation. You need to be smart to be a dairy farmer, and I think that's what we really want to convey to people, is that we don't just pick a paddock and put some cows in it. There is very much science and numbers behind everything that we do.
It's the quiet time on the farm at the moment, the calm before the storm. There'll be no milking until after the calves are born, and then, as they say, it'll all be on.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a crafty way of getting you to stay in the job. You start off and it's quite peaceful and easy, and then I think about mid-June, July, you get a friendly reminder that there's a lot of work to be done around the calving season. But it'll be long days, it'll be really long days. But I came into this position expecting that. So at the moment it's like paradise.
Yeah. Will it be paradise though at sort of 4 o'clock in the morning in deepest, darkest winter?
Yeah, well, what I love is that you get to see the whole day. If you're in a job whereby you're inside, you go to work and it's dark, and you leave and it's dark, and it may be cold, but we see the sun, and there's something quite cool about that.
Well, he's certainly keen, Duncan, but I don't know, is he still going to be feeling like this in a few weeks' time?
He seems happy here, but let's have a look at that. That's coming up next. Welcome back to Third Degree. So Luke Chivers is a fresh-faced 21-year-old. He's also an economics and a communications graduate. And he could be chasing this massive corporate dream, the fancy cars, the flash suit, but no. Beautiful city life, but no, he's decided to get his hands dirty. He's been chasing cows around in the back blocks of Whakatane. Now, Mike McRoberts went back to check on Luke's progress 1 month into the job as a trainee farmhand.
With the chinos now well and truly packed away, Luke's taken to his new role with his trademark enthusiasm, and it has to be said, looking every bit the farmhand. When I catch up with him, he's feeding out maize.
We've been away for a couple of weeks and come back and you look like you're doing brilliantly here.
Oh, you fake it until you make it, don't you?
Is that what it's been like? Have you felt you've just had to get out there and do it?
No, not really. To be fair, Thomas and Stacey have done an incredible job at teaching me what to do, so yeah, I've been well trained.
And do you miss the city at all? Any regrets?
I don't. Funnily enough, my first trip into Whakatane was quite overwhelming. Too many people, so yeah, I've become a hermit.
A cow has calved early and is ready to milk. Now it's Luke's turn to teach.
You go on, you feed the teat in, into the hole.
Oh my God. Jesus, this is right out of my comfort zone, I'm telling you now. Like that?
Yeah, yep. And you can let go of that one,
Okay.
and move on to the next one. Yep. Have you done this before or something?
I'm trying to do it as fast as possible. Yeah. Oh, look, there we go. White gold.
Next up is a latte.
Beautiful.
3 months after he started, Luke survived the toughest time on the farm. Now he's milking like a pro and helping to deliver calves.
Pretty amazing. I just loved, to be honest, just the element of new life that you saw every single day. It was really fascinating. Delivering calves, and the other day I was fortunate enough to deliver some twins, and you get right in amongst it.
Now, when you say deliver them, do you mean actually physically deliver them?
Yeah. So you're right in there and and pulling them out. So you have your chains and your ropes, and fantastic opportunity.
That's a long way away from city life, isn't it?
Yeah. I never thought I'd be handshaking in that way before, but yeah, completely different.
But it hasn't been all laughs on the farm in recent weeks. After a record payout to farmers last year, this year's milk solids payout was slashed because of lower global prices. As farm managers, the next step for Thomas and Stacey is share milking, where they buy a herd and partner with the farm owner to share the profits. For around 200 cows, you're looking at least $500,000. A lot of debt to carry when milk solid payouts are low.
Dairy farming is a long-term game, really. There's going to be ups and downs throughout the course of our career, so there might be a few things that we might not splurge on this year, but I mean overall it's not really had that much of an effect on us.
So you and Thomas, you're both still in your 20s. So what's your 10-year plan? What's your 20-year plan? Where do you want to be?
Our 10-year plan, we definitely want to be herd owners or in an equity partnership in that time. 20 years, our plan is for early retirement, actually. If farm ownership is able to be integrated into that goal, then that's great, but it's not an overarching goal of ours, farm ownership. We're more about being able to be there for our boys, being able to live the lifestyle that we want, be a bit more relaxed, I think, in 20 years' time. So, and I think we can definitely do that in the dairy industry.
Luke's not certain he'll follow down the same track as Thomas and Stacey. He says he's keeping his options open.
Whether this would be long-term or not, this will have taught me so many skills which I'll never be able to, look back and regret.
In fact, Luke says life couldn't be better. Well, maybe with one exception.
My main concern is meeting a lady. I haven't met one in Waimana yet, so fingers crossed. Yeah.
Well, here's your chance on national television. It's a nice little plug for you.
It is, yeah. Just be a bachelor next time you come back. Yeah.
Yeah, what a nice joker. And of course,
Put it out there, hasn't
he has put it out there. So Luke's looking for a girlfriend, okay? So if you want to jump online right now, make him a proposal.
Do you think he's a good catch?
Well,
I think he looks lovely to me.
Okay, for you, but I don't think he's my type.
Not for me, but for someone.
Okay, I thought you had a BF. Anyway, if you'd like to make him a proposal, jump online. Also online as well, as Mike mentioned, there's a real push to get more people working in the primary sector on the farm. So as many as 50,000 of you are needed.
Number, yeah.
It's a massive number, isn't it? Needed over the next decade. So if you want to be one of them, as I said, jump on our website for details.